Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. We're here and we're live, and we've got a bit of a special one tonight. We'll maybe finish off the night. Tuesday night, we'd like to do a bit of rewards, but with all the early access stuff that's been coming out for Contender last week, and then earlier this week, we had it dropping for Challenger, along with some other little details that came in with both those early access drops. I thought we could try and get a bit of a mega stream together and discuss some of the changes in strategy that we might see, particularly in the Challenger region for the upcoming season on Sorare. And a returning face we've got to the channel for this type of multi-talking head kind of strategy show, of course, is Charlie Dunbar. Charlie, good to see you, my man.
Yeah, good to see you. How are you?
Aye, all good, man, all good. It's been a while. But yeah, thanks for coming back on again, mate. And normally when we do rewards, Charlie, you're a good bit of luck for maybe one of us. I don't know if you've got any rewards to pop tonight, but certainly... None. Okay, well, maybe there'll be a bit of luck in there for some of the rest of us in.
Yeah, I hope so.
Which will be good fun. And again, another returning face. Again, we had this guy on not too long ago. He's got a fantastic channel you can check out at Jack P on Jack P Sorare on YouTube and at Jack P across social media. It is the aforementioned Jack P. Jack, good to see you, my man.
Evening, lads. Hope you're well.
All good, mate. All good. Good to have you back on. How you been?
Thank you. Yeah, I think the last time I was on, it was about the quarterfinals in the Euros, and obviously, we'll leave that there. Actually, we'll leave that there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just received one of our guests is saying SOS, and I'm just letting them know where the life raft is. But we've got for the first time on the channel today. I've been at their place having a good time. We had a rare night, and actually, as I'm teeing him up here. I think he was one of the... No, I don't think any of them actually got the drink that I brought on the channel. He's one of the three hosts of the Make It a Double podcast, the Sorare Sevens aficionados. It's the one, the only, Azzy Mac. Azzy, good to see you, my man.
Evening, boys. How we doing?
Oh, good, mate. Thanks for coming on the channel. Good to see you.
Yeah, buzzing for it, mate. First time show. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it. Looking forward to it.
And you're dressed for the occasion as well. Got the Mechlin shirt out, ready to rock and roll. Have you went for any early access Mechlin cards?
I have, and to be honest, I've got a great story about one which I can either save or give you a nice intro to, but I cocked up this morning straight away at 6 a.m.
Well, it's up to you. You can hang fire on it from when we get into the auctions, or feel free to let it loose now, but it's up to you, mate.
Long story short, don't buy cards the minute you wake up. Insta-buy or max bid. So I think I went Insta-buy by mistake instead of max bid and just bought it straight away. So yeah, learned my lesson this morning.
Ouch. Yeah. Did you? What did it come with? Essence or a card?
One essence. I weren't going to get lucky when I've done something stupid like that.
Maybe it'll be a special edition when it comes out of the packet. Yeah, that's the last fingers crossed.
Special in my heart, mate.
Yeah, that's it. For sure. Well, yeah, as I say, we've got one or two guests that will kind of drop in on us later on. Some of them are going to be opening up rewards, I think, before they'll join us. And as I say, we had an SOS to send out to one of them. But for me, I think it's all kind of where my head was at coming into this. Because I was quite taken aback when we got the early access Challenger kind of press release or whatever. It was quite similar to the Contender one, where like we've seen that there was no La Liga 2, where we're getting Rangers. There was a few other bits and pieces going on. But I thought the ones in Challenger actually make a bigger kind of ripple effect. The main one, of course, is the Turkish League going down in size. But they have caveated a lot of this stuff by saying maybe there'll be a couple of clubs coming back on. Maybe they'll be in Brazil or Denmark or something like that. But at the moment, there is no Denmark as well, you know. So this is a region that has really went from being what I thought was going to be quite truncated, quite a fat region, lots of guys in it. And, you know, maybe a wee bit of dice rolling on the go for high scores every weekend, to now, especially for end season, you know, it's definitely a much more narrow bandwidth coming into it.
Yeah,
and as I tee that up, just 2 seconds, mate. As I tee that up, we've got our fifth talking head for the show tonight. I think he's returning. I don't think it's his debut on the channel. I would be very embarrassed if it was. He's the patron saint of the channel. Everyone loves him. It's SR Monkey. SR, good to see you, my man.
You all right, lads? How's it going? Good to see everybody.
Good to see you, my man.
No, I've been on your stream a couple of times, Quinny. Yeah.
My memory's not my friend most of the time.
Apologies. I was waiting for the link. I was sitting there waiting for the link on WhatsApp.
Yeah. Apologies for my bad on that one. But I was just teeing everyone up, Monkey, just talking about the difference that we've seen in both the regions, certainly, but tonight with the focus is kind of on Challenger, because I think it's probably made the biggest difference of the two regions, but the difference in actual cards that will be available for the upcoming season. And I think Azzy was going to jump in on it, so I kind of cut him off to bring you on, but that was kind of where I'd got to.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'm a Championship fan. Always have been because of being a Huddersfield Town fan. I mean, we're not in there this season. We got relegated last year, but that was a massive disappointment for me at first. And then as soon as I tweeted it out and got a million replies from people saying why it was actually a benefit, I kind of held my hands up and realised it. The narrowing of the amount of useless cards that they probably would have produced with those teams kind of improves your prize pools, it just condenses it down into a more competitive division than just having a lot of unnecessary fodder in there as such. So I like the look of it, to be honest.
Because for me, like the Challenger region, like see the actual leagues, and we can talk about the non-EU part of it as well, if like MLS and whatever. But it is like and again, I'm being kind of fair, like for where Scotland, Austria, Croatia, and that are in the standing of European and world football. But that is those leagues in there are serious leagues with serious players in them. I was kind of saying, I think in the little kind of blurb I'm sending to you guys in preparation for tonight. But I think like this is a league now that I think a lot of like ambitious newcomers or anyone who's trying to set out a new strategy, maybe cut some new ground in that sense, could really take seriously because of, like you say, as like the prize pool now, like the tier 3 to 5 fodder that will be going around in reward boxes, out of essence pools, never mind actual leaderboard card hits, is went down, so the quality you think goes up quite a lot, So
yeah. I think because with the way they set the in-season up, the actual returns in each division is actually really good, I think, percentage to the value of cards as well. So if you're looking at an in-season team now in Challenger, you could spend $500, and in your lower divisions, you're getting $30 for like the lowest positions. So I think everyone talks about cap board going and your return on investment and all that usual conversation that gets dotted about consistently. I think that the in-season's actually looking quite positive on the return you can make, especially for the value of the cards.
I think one thing that people are missing, not just in Challenger but across all the divisions, is that a lot of people are saying all the prize pools have stayed the same, but they may have stayed the same, but the actual supply of especially in-season cards is obviously gotten down because there's no loads of Turkish League, loads of second divisions, all of that's gone. So if the prize pools are staying the same, there's less cards entering, so you technically got a better chance.
Yeah. I think that was what, with divisions especially, I like the look of. I've always been a player in the highest division you can, but it doesn't look as detrimental playing lower as well in the in-season because the cash value isn't much different unless you get a podium, which you're only getting obviously 3 in each one, and the lowest return, especially in rare, I think rare is probably the most attractive one to look at the moment when it comes to your return on cash. I think that it's $30. I think is your lowest return in Division 4 and 3. Here he is.
Hello.
The angry tourist.
I thought we were talking about Challenger.
All right, I'll press leave. Where's the leave? Sorry about that. Right.
Which one?
I don't know because when you're on holiday, you don't know what day of the week it is. So I've actually just logged in and realised it's rewards night. You just lose the place, don't you? I'm home at 3 a.m. as well, but there we go. No excuses. It was a rant. Apologise again.
I didn't want to cut anyone off with bringing McBride in there, but on this note, who do you think caused the most uproar over the last couple of days, McBride or Paneka?
Oh, that's one way to advertise a business.
See if you had the name and the profile picture, and you said which one of these is drunk on the beach right now. How many people would have been able to work it out? Do you think?
Not many.
I wasn't drunk. Honestly, I wasn't. I was at an all-inclusive and I'd had beer, but I wasn't drunk.
Every picture you sent through, you had a glass of beer in your hand.
Yeah, that's what happens at the all-inclusive. You just go and get beer. It was a weird one because obviously you're away on holiday and supposed to be spending time with the family and everything. So it's all been set up to right at 1 o'clock in that day. That's when I'm buying Sorare cards. So Yeah, there was a bit of stress involved in that as well. The wife had accepted the position, but I hadn't, obviously. So
just you chewing her ear off at the side of the pool because you weren't getting your number 1 minute.
Let's not talk about the contender stuff all the time, because honestly, like I've spent more money in Celtic cards than I did on the holiday. So the wife will not be watching, so it's fine. She'll find out, hopefully.
None the wiser. Well, we're just talking about the value of, like, I suppose the value of the prize pool going up because there's less in-season cards now available. The quality of them should be kind of less diluted in the kind of like less desirable tiers, let's say. But on top of that as well, like, there's another kind of thing that just came to my mind and it's just fell out the back of my head. But it's a region that, that's what I was kind of thinking as well, because part of the thing is we've got Sporting Lisbon back, which is cool. And like I kind of mentioned in the tip-off thing here, and there's a few people mentioning it in the chat, there is a mention, there was in the contender one as well, if I remember rightly, but there might be a few more clubs like re-sign and or maybe new clubs entirely get kind of onboarded or whatever. And this region, especially with, if we look at like Rangers coming into contender and then like Sporting coming back into this region, there might be a bit more of a focus on like getting the Premier teams in these divisions on rather than the complete division. Maybe the complete division has been something that's been difficult to get on. But it feels like Challenger, like the prize pool, is like, it's got more kind of streamlined, isn't it? A bit more beefier in that sense.
Yeah. One. I was going to say one theory I did have on that was that. Sorry, was that the because obviously the 4 Turkish league clubs, maybe they're thinking of it as more of an economical move. Maybe they're the 4 clubs that they're making a profit on by buying the license compared to selling the cards. So maybe it is just a finance thing. Whereas the bottom 16 teams in Turkey, or whatever it is, they're losing money by having them.
Yeah, it could be a thing. Because, I mean, there's a lot of teams that you look at and you see the pennies out of the cards and you think, surely you can't be for the amount that they must be paying out for those licenses, you can't be making much of a profit on cards going at £1 and £2 for every player in the team. So, yeah, it's probably not a bad shout.
Yeah.
Come on, Monkey.
I was going to say, I'll wait for Monkey to show.
Sorry, yeah. I was going to say about what are people's thoughts on, because the Scottish Premier League, obviously, you've got their 2 cash tournaments coming up. Belgium Pro League looks like they've essentially got 3 because they've got one this weekend as well, haven't they? So, they're the only team going to be running in Challenger this weekend. Of course, there'll be some classic cards you can litter in there, but in terms of in-season cards, they're the only ones. Do you think that's causing a massive run on particularly some of the big clubs in Belgium at the moment?
I'd have thought so. I mean, I've been looking at some of the in-season Mechelen cards and the top players like Scoofs and Bratty and things like that. They're going for some serious value compared to the classic. But I haven't really checked any of the other major teams, but they've lost quite a few as well. So I don't actually think they'll be that strong this season, which might be why the value's not as high. But you can see the difference in how much people are putting into these cards just to get them out these next couple of weekends. So, yeah, you'd think that the higher quality ones will be worth some serious money compared to the classic.
Yeah, saying that though, I was slightly expecting more expensive Challenger cards. I feel like they're around the same range as Contender, whereas like someone like De Kuiper, his first mint only went for £260. Whereas I thought, like, if you look at someone like Matt O'Reilly, likely to get a move, I'd argue De Kuiper's got slightly better scores, maybe. And especially given all the cash comps they're doing for Belgium and stuff, EG23, I'm surprised even someone like João Neves didn't go for slightly more.
I think he's got a move hanging over him, hasn't he? A potential move to PSG.
Yeah, but I personally think he'll do better there. Like, I think anyone at PSG is just going to go crazy if they start.
I'm not sure if Contender were a bit of a lesson as well, because some of these early doors payments just seem daft.
Yeah,
you had rare cards going for less than limited cards and things like that. So I think people kind of learned the lesson on it, and it's plateaued a little bit now in what people can.
Maybe people plan on doing all 3 or even Challenger and Champ, and then maybe people have seen Contender go crazy and thought, I'm going to back off Challenger and just go for Champ. And it's only like 7 days away or whatever.
I've run out of money. I don't have any money left.
Have you balls?
Yeah. The other thing with Challenger as well is that, like, when you look at the sort of different game weeks and things, like, there's a lot of like really highly competitive teams in Challenger. But I think the reason your top teams in Contender are maybe like similar prices is because there's not as many top teams in Contender. So you go to like the different game weeks, and obviously Celtic now, Rangers have come in. You've got teams like River Plate, but River Plate are not really a vintage River Plate team or whatever. So, like, if you've got 2 or 3 teams who are actually doing pretty well every week, that's probably better than having Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, PSV, Benfica, Sporting. So it's maybe more spread around because you've got teams who really you need good fixtures, but also performances as well. Because, you know, it was game weeks where Galatasaray won 5-0 and Mertens was picking hundreds out his ass, and you're just like, you know, it's really hard to beat that when you've got like maybe 5 MLS cards or whatever. Even if you've got the right ones, it's still hard to beat the stack. So it's an interesting division with what they've done now. It's I don't think I'm going to play it. I mean, that's maybe because I can't play all the regions and be really competitive, but I don't know. I like the MLS over the summer, but it seems like it's quite a bonkers division in scores. So
I saw the Start Super Rare last night as well. I think he went for 0.5 Ethereum. Sold 3 days ago for 0.143. So that's a bit of a jump in that Super Rare.
Have you seen his pal that's going to play next to him?
I've seen the transfer today. Yeah.
Delogi Niba.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. He was supposed to be going to Champ, and now he's going to Ghent. So he should do pretty good there, I would imagine.
I think so. I think with Super, it's a little bit different because, like, they do have like a really bad schedule of getting out a lot of Super Rares. So, like, genuinely, like, if there is only like 2 that go on sale before the season starts, like, when will the other 8 appear? You know, so there's maybe a wee bit more of that early advantage or early to market advantage, maybe with those ones. But yeah, for like, I think that, you know, the liquidity and all the rest of it that goes into supers and whatever has obviously went down a good bit. So seeing that's definitely eye catching. I wasn't expecting it to be that high. But when you mention like limited going ahead of rares and stuff like that, again, that kind of points to me a little bit of like auction fever. You know, when you're in fighting for a card, you don't come out for a second and have a look at the auctions and go, hang on a minute, I'm paying this limited forward for that rare goalkeeper's about to go for, or whatever. You're just like in that zone, one more bid, kind of thing. So I don't think that's, you know, it's just always what I think when I see some of these prices. I'm like, someone was just locked in when that was happening, or 2 people were locked in and they were just fighting it out. But yeah, I think like the region overall, like, is like with MLS, like, there's definitely a lot of players in there that can smash the big scores when you do have that crossover period between now and like November or whenever it will be before playoffs kick in. But for the majority of the European season, like, it will feel, I think, quite a thin division, like in terms of in-season especially. And, you know, Classic is obviously a bit different. But, you know, the 3 big Portuguese teams, the top 4 Turkish teams, you know, the full Dutch league, the full Belgian league. And then what? You know, like, it's not actually that much to fight against, is it?
No, it's quite thin on the ground. But then I think sometimes it's if you own one of these stacks, or if you own a good setup for it, and you can be quite consistent with your scoring, you're going to see some good rewards at the same time. So I think anyone who's set up for Classic well will cash in early doors on some high sales of in-season, unless they want to keep them and play in-season. But if you get into in-season early, I think you could see quite a quick return, even if you are overpaying on the cards.
Yeah,
I think going back to the point. Go on, sorry.
Where do people think, like Joey Veerman? Obviously, there's talk of him leaving. I think he even wants to leave. I noticed his card yesterday went for 500 quid, his rare card, which is a decent chunk of change for a player that you know wants to leave the club. So if he leaves, where do you think he goes? And do you think he's worth that if he moves?
I personally don't think he does move. This just feels like Sangare deja vu to me. And like, I can't remember who it was, maybe Charlie. I don't know. I was talking to somebody recently anyway, and they kind of highlight every time Veerman's had a big game on the telly, he's not done well, you know, whether it be for Holland or PSV or whatever, you know. So For players like that, they really do need a game for people to point to and go, oh no, look, see, he done it against Arsenal or whatever, I don't know, or England if it was the Dutch team or whatever. So they want a lot of money for him, and I don't know. I've just got this feeling he'll probably end up just like, oh crap, nobody come in for me, and just stays.
Yeah, I feel he had a pretty horrendous Euros. Like someone like Shouting just looked miles better than, like, not even comparable personally. Like I've not watched PSV much this season, but like the difference just seemed night and day personally to me, who's not watched any of them prior.
And when you're doing it like that on a big stage as well, it's even more devaluing it, really, because your top
it's probably done him more harm going to the Euros value wise than not.
Yeah, I think I caught the game against Arsenal as well. I think PSV against Arsenal at the Emirates, and he didn't look himself that game after the Euros as well. So we say big games like that, it's not good for the value, to be fair. But
so maybe someone's got a bargain at 500 then, because he can smash hundreds every week, can't he? We know that.
Yeah.
I tell you, who did get a bargain? The guy who got the one after, because he got it for 125 quid cheaper. So
I know, I just noticed that as well, but I didn't want to sort of rub the guy's face.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like we're seeing it a lot, that people are desperate to move, or look like they're going, and they're just, no one's in for them.
I think there's a lot of transfers that could still, a lot of free agents as well. You got Depay. I mean, there's a ton out there. So Matt and yourself, Quinny, quote tweeted the other day, and there's plenty of free agents out there, and plenty that Ivan Toney. There's, I'm talking about the champion players here, but there's a lot of transfer business still to be done.
Yeah. I think that's one of the main issues with the early access cards at the moment as well, because I see one that was like, there was a unique out, and like with it was somebody had already bid like 600 quid, and then he's away to Saudi Arabia, and it was like in the space of like 1 hour. So like,
it's a pure random guy, wasn't it? I seen that. Maybe a Berlin player.
Wasn't the guy was at Hibs last season? My leader. That's what it was. Yeah. And as we know, Tavernier. I mean, if you've actually got some local knowledge, like I think Kamatomo or whatever you call him, what Tavernier unique and Matt O'Reilly. Tavernier has not been in a Rangers squad yet, so no matter where he goes, even if he's covered, he's not going to be knocking hundreds out his ass, because he'll be going to a different team, and it'll, Trabzonspor don't dominate the Turkish league as much as Rangers dominate teams in Scotland, so his scoring's not going to be as high. Matt O'Reilly obviously has been held back a bit because there's all the rumours, even though Rodgers said, look, every player's got his price, but we're dead relaxed about it, and we're just about to restart the league. So that's one of the main issues for early access cards, I think, just now, just because you've seen De Bruyne, whose price is going like up and down every time somebody says whether he's staying or going. It's just such an interesting dynamic with the market and stuff.
I think the Edison one's worse. Like, it's literally changing day after day, staying. Just
his chart's brilliant to look at.
It's great, isn't
it? Up and down constantly from people
panicking. Knickers.
It's like the Ajax goalkeeper as well. I think the Ajax goalkeeper, the 40-year-old, what's his name? His charts up and down at the moment.
That's fair, yeah.
Well, they've announced it today. He's going to be starting, haven't they?
Yeah.
Which is just mental.
Genesis reckons Ipswich could take Veerman, which would be like Sangare going to newly promoted Nottingham Forest at the time. So
that's the type of move I could see happening if he did leave. Yeah, I don't think he's going to a big club now.
I was thinking something like a Brighton. That's where I.
It's bottom half prem for me personally. I don't see anyone else being bothered about them.
That's £500 in the dust, then, isn't it?
Yeah. Really, yeah.
I mean,
until he goes down to the Championship.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I guess it's interesting.
But that's, as much as the classic season's probably added value to it, that's just what happens every summer, though, isn't it, as well? Yeah. People buying during a transfer window, and every January, I suppose. So I just think the classic season adds an extra hurt to it, because early access, because you're expecting that extra value out of it, maybe the extra card or the boat essence and all that, so you're paying more. So it's like a double whammy if they move and take a hit.
Yeah.
And we only started seeing the Saudi Arabia stuff really last year, didn't we? and it looks like every player is like trying to leverage Saudi Arabia to get pay rises or more money on everything. So you're just constantly seeing these like things like, obviously with Kevin De Bruyne, it's a bit different, but any half decent player is going to sort of get their agent to post out, Saudi Arabia's interested in us, and when they're doing contract renewals, surely, and that's just going to drive their prices on Sorare up and down all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think people have started talking about the Saudi rumours and Sorare palaver that they do since it's all become about and things. And I just don't see how, after getting rid of so many teams that they've already got rid of now, why they then start covering a league that they wouldn't mint cards for.
It's not going to happen.
It makes zero business sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially as they're cancelling other teams and not renewing their licenses. So.
Yeah. You need a license. The argument would be that if contenders a bit more balanced, then and you could get these guys Benzema or whatever at £300 and £400, then it'd be worth getting a license. Or maybe actually go to Saudi Arabia and say, look, we're the biggest fantasy football site in the world, and get them to do a preferential deal, get them to sponsor some stuff or whatever. But just covering it when there's no license is never going to happen now, I don't think.
I think the issue is, even if they do cover it and get the license, is it going to be like China where someone's just scoring 100 every week? Like someone shit. Like fair enough, Oscar, he's half decent, but like someone like Wu Li is just banging out 80s week after week after week. Like even if they do cover it and they're getting money out of it, that's going to kill every other challenger league, basically.
Yeah. I don't think it's a bridge they'll cross for a while, to be honest with you.
I agree.
It's one of those ones where, like, I don't think they've been on anywhere near the radar for a while, because it's just been, again, everyone kind of seen it with China before, like maybe it goes away kind of thing. And I think everyone's kind of maybe held off on Saudi in terms of like Sorare, obviously, but world football, like, are they going to keep doing this every window, or are they going to have 2 or 3 windows and then fuck off or whatever? So it's still a wee bit taking my pause and seeing from a distance. But on top of like this kind of connects to a lot of stuff that's been brought up already in this as well. But I do feel that a little bit of maybe the understated part of this, and we've not really got the full special weekly calendar for like September, October, November to really contrast and compare this against. But the big clubs in this region that you can name, I did most of them earlier, but then then the big 3 in Holland and maybe the big 2 or 3, however you want to think of it, from Belgium, they're going to be formidable, teams most midweeks. All the revamps that we've had in continental football should have some sort of special weekly action on the go. We are hoping that it's specific to Champions, Europa and Conference League, but we'll see how it all kind of shakes out. But for the Champions League, certainly, I know as a Celtic fan, I'm really excited about this, and any other challenger team should be excited about this as well, especially if you're stacking them on Sorare. But one of the key differences to the new format of the Champions League is that you'll play 8 games, right? 4 home, 4 away. But for the first time ever, you will play teams in your same pot. So part of the thing that's always killed Celtic is we're in pot 4 most of the time. So you then get the biggest team in pot 3, just sod's law. And then pot 2 and pot 1 are always good. So you're screwed right at the beginning. But Celtic this year, and again, you can say the same for PSV, for Lisbon, for Trabzonspor or whoever, they're going to play 2 teams in pot 4. They're going to play 2 teams in pot 3. And they'll still play home and away against pot 2 and pot 1 like they always do. But so many more teams now, we've got 4 games, 2 home, 2 away, where they will be thinking, if we can get 12 points, we're in the mix here, and they'll be really going for it. You don't play the same team as you do home and away. So it's 8 completely different teams you play in the Champions League, certainly. And when you look at Benfica, these teams are good in the Champions League anyway. Never mind giving them some opponents they might actually scud.
You're a bit more optimistic this season that Celtic might get out of the group then.
Yes. Well, it's a different thing. So, like, if you finish...
Sorry.
If you finish in like the middle segment, you get 2 more games. It's like a playoff, and then you go into the last 16 from there or something like that. So
you think they might make the playoffs to go and potentially go through that way?
That's what I'm hoping for. So a good team, like a good solid Champions League team, will get 10 games against 9 opponents. If you want to think of it like that. So Benfica are always handy in Europe anyway. Galatasaray and Fenerbahce with Jose Mourinho will fancy their chances. Ajax love to fancy their chances. Oh, Ajax aren't actually in it, scratch that. But, such teams are scared of most teams, and I think he's going to get what I'm getting at here. I do think the special weekly kind of element does kind of feed into what the challenger teams might be able to eat from, what fingers they can get their pies into.
Yeah.
Get your fingers into pies. Here's Harry Trades.
Nice little intro, lads. What's going on? What's going on?
Talking about pies.
I haven't been listening to the last 32 minutes, so you'll have to fill me. 2 pies, 1 league, 1 cup.
If that's how you do it, Harry Boy, then power to you, man. Love it. But no, prize pools, challengers. I was just kind of thinking about like the special weekly access you'll get with some of these cards as well that do play maybe top end Europa League or a decent competitive level in Champions League. Maybe your Benfica's, your Galatasaray's, Fenerbahce's, these sorts of teams. We're beginning to tune over everything that you might imagine, Harry, from that little kind of blurb I sent you before, just making a headspace on the announcement and a wee bit of I think it really before for me, if you were opening up Sorare before the announcement, you either play contender because you're an SPFL fan, or you're trying to play low budget, right? Or you're probably playing champion, prem, and whatever because you want to go for the big stuff. There wasn't too much of a reason to really go into challenger, but I think now this kind of thinning of the field, as it were, and the quality going up because Sporting's back on, and let's see what happens with any Danish teams that might come on or whatever. But it feels like it's a region now where like you could put an ambitious strategy together no matter how long you've been playing the game.
100%. I think coupled with the it's not good for MLS card holders, but the whole Leagues Cup thing, you're kind of if you want to play in season challenger now, you basically have to buy European cards realistically, unless you wait for obviously MLS to come back, which people will do, of course. But yeah, no, they're in a weird position because they've been auctioned secondary to contenders, so everyone spunked all their coins on contender SPFL cards, or moving to Trabzon Spores and all that fun stuff. And it feels like challenger cards are going under the radar a little bit. You're not seeing massive prices, but that might be because they have the MLS to kind of fend with, and people have MLS cards in season ones already, and they're a bit all right, I have to wait a month, but I've got Acosta, I've got Buanga. I can't replace them in challenger without worrying about where they're going to go. If you want to buy a Veerman, you're just going to buy Acosta because you just don't know where Veerman's going to end up, right? There's that weird transfer situation with a lot of the really good, challenger teams. Like you said, there's Sporting, Benfica's you might not have to worry about as much. But yeah, that's a weird one though, that Trubin one, because he's under 23, isn't he? So how many people are going to really play him in challenger in season? Do you get what I'm saying? People will, but why would you buy a Trubin in season if you're going to play under 23? You wouldn't do it unless you want a massive collection, which, okay, fine. But there's definitely reasons to buy the old Trubin.
I think part of the issue as well with Benfica cards is the fact that this weekend we've just got Belgium. Even the weekend after, we don't have the Portuguese League. It isn't until just before the Premier League comes back that we get the Portuguese League. And I'm pretty sure that we might see a little bit of a bump in prices nearer the time on the Portuguese League, because, we all know that Benfica are going to be smashers, and we know that Porto and Sporting are going to be pretty decent as well. One of them will win the league. So I think we'll see a rise in those prices. But I think that short term, and we all know utility is king in this. Everybody looks at this, or doesn't look further than this in front of the calendar. They look at sometimes it's just, what have I got next game week? What do I need to fill? And as soon as the game week opened today, I'm sure people thought, oh, hang on, I can't play my MLS cards. What do I need? Oh, Challenger Europe. Okay, I'll go out and buy some Belgium cards or whatever's playing this weekend. And I think that will affect the price short term. But I completely agree with you on the U23 front as well. It's you might as well play classic. You might as well buy classic cards for that.
Yeah, you might as well buy a Passphere.
He's the same age. Harry, so the Benfica thing, they were really late last season as well, weren't they? So they really chucked out I can't remember how many they've actually minted the previous ones, but because it was at the Euros, they just chucked out loads of Trubins in the space of 3 or 4 months. So it might just be a case of everybody that really wants Trubins can already bought them, if that makes sense.
100%, mate. Yeah.
But I mean, Dave Drake, it's a couple of weeks away, then nobody's really thinking about it just now. They're thinking about what's happening this weekend, or the SPFL special next weekend. That's one.
Do you think you think Sorare are gonna have other specials like on that special weekly like tab? It was JPL, wasn't it? And obviously SPFL. Do you think they're like purposely not putting the other ones on there because they don't come back as soon, or they're just not going to be any other specials? Or what do we think?
I think that was the Challenger special, wasn't it? So I presume
Right, but like there was no Dutch one on there. There was no Portuguese special. Do you know what I'm saying? The only special was.
I think they're only going to do specials for fully licensed leagues. So Challenger will only be obviously MLS, Belgium or Netherlands.
Well, that list also had Scotland on it as well, though, so it can't just be Challengers. I think that is actually the full list of.
Yeah, because I suppose everyone else has got their own league comps, so it's kind of pointless, isn't it?
This is my issue with the removing of All-Star, though, because if it becomes a special weekly, it's great every now and then. But what all it's doing is removing that, is adding the top level cards to each region. So your Challenger's going to have your top Challenger cards in it every time, rather than splitting it between All-Star and Challenger and things like that. I think that keeping All-Star would have allowed people who are maybe not as invested in the game and the depth that some galleries have to still compete in the Contender and Challenger and Champ, because a lot of the top teams will have been in All-Star to try and hit those bigger rewards. So I'd have preferred that to stay, but I also see why they've got rid of it, because to try to condense it down into certain leagues, play against certain leagues and stuff.
I think one thing about the special weeklies is, has anyone seen the boxes for the Olympics one?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
They're really good.
Let's crack them open.
in there,
They're
socks.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh crap! This is wanting me to open rewards. I hope I don't. Need to
do you want to share my screen?
Oh, if you've got it, even better, Charlie. Yeah. Charlie's screen joined. There we go. Boom. Oh, look at us splitting the table.
Two for a pounder. 2 for a pounder.
Right.
Yeah, so you've got 5% Rivals jersey, 5%.
What's a ball bag?
Hind bag?
It's like a wash bag.
So I googled this on the member stream last night, and Hindbag is a brand of those kind of fanny packs, basically, and they do have on their website like a special discount if you're ordering from France or Belgium. So I don't think it's a typo. I think it's actually meant to say Hindbag.
Yeah.
I thought it was some like translation thing. Like when I looked at it,
It may be, but I don't know. I looked into it. It looks like a real company, a brand, you know.
But the 55% chance of a card.
Wow. Yeah.
Which I think is the highest by a long stretch of what we've seen. I think. So if this is what it's going to, the boxes are going to be like, maybe the specials prize pools aren't going to be unbelievable, but if the boxes are like this, I think it's going to make people want to play personally.
If they remove the 30% chance of a level up and put essence in there, then that would be
definitely.
It'd be perfect.
Right. Yeah.
10% of entries get top 10% get a box. Everyone gets one box. There's no multi-box payout.
That's a lot of socks they're going to be sending out, though, isn't it? Mind you, it depends how many people enter it.
Yeah, 130 currently.
You should have gone to Paris, lads. We got a pair of socks for losing the whole tournament in Paris. So
you've seen the socks. You've got socks.
I mean, I've got a pair in the other room. If you're desperate to see them, but
Get them out, come on.
I think I am desperate to see them.
Come on,
Get them out.
I win a pair. I'll have to tell my mum not to buy me any for Christmas.
The chat's absolutely popping. I do feel rude putting the messages up on screen because we've got so many. We'll cut. Now it's Harry. We'll cut somebody's face off.
Like from Jay, fanny packs and socks is Big Nico taking the piss.
Yeah. But yeah, more stuff in boxes is always good, you know. But there was one comment I wanted to call back to real quickly, and just maybe we can reference this after we see the socks and whatever. But Peter is in the house, and he reckons that these changes make Classic more competitive for no benefit to the user. So I'll maybe tackle that again once we see the socks. Let's see, Azzy, what do they look like?
Kit.
Oh, white.
And then underneath, you've still got the branding as well. So you've got your usual white sock. But yeah, this is what you get. That's what you get.
If Sorare are watching this, they've missed an absolute trick by not putting lucky socks on that or some shit, you know, like get some sort of trophy icon on the go, lucky socks or something. They're crackers, but I thought they were going to be black with just white writing, pure letdown. But there's a wee bit of something on the go there as. And how do they feel? Are they good socks? Would you wear them at football, or what are we doing with them?
Well, I'll be honest. I won't go into too much detail. But one of my legs was that swollen from being booted about in Paris that when I wore them, I thought they were too tight, and I complained, and I realised it wasn't. I've just got some serious swelling from playing football. So they actually are good socks. Yeah, they actually are good socks. I'm one of those that wears trainers with high white socks. That's one of those weirdos. So they fit me. They fit me to a T.
Love that. So yeah, the boxes are looking good. The boxes are on the way up, and special weeklies like they could be tarted out like that, which would be great. And I think we've seen it with the Euros and some other bits and pieces before the end of the European season that some boxes were like jacked up with extra stuff in it or higher chance of cards and stuff like that. So it's good to see that there will be like better boxes to be rolled out for special occasions and whatever. Yeah, Johnny's got it here, like 1 out of 10 on the socks, something like that, or 1 of 2, and then on the other one, 2 of 2, something like that. Could be a bit of a one. But yeah, Peter was saying that some of these changes will be making Classic hard enough now. I don't think you can really do anything to Classic to make it any difficulty-wise.
He corrected himself there. He meant Saudi.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Top man. Right. I missed that. Sorry. It's just when I seen it in the chat, I thought, that was maybe 2 minutes ago. What were we talking about? So sorry, I've totally misplaced that, Peter. But yeah. But well, I was good. Yeah. Classic, for me, I think Classic coming into this year, we've all kind of seen it as it's going to be tough. If you do want to win the best cards, never mind win anything, because there's 4, 5, 6 seasons, depending on what division we're talking about, of cards kind of lying around or whatever. But some of the changes that they've made obviously make the supply a bit more leaner to the regions that we've seen. But I suppose the kind of year-on-year increase of strength, it has went down on what you would have projected a month ago versus what you project today, just for the lesser amount of new cards kind of coming in. I do think it makes Classic a little bit easier because if the calendar region as we kind of see it, and as I'm thinking about it, certainly the now at least anyway, is that kind of lane where it's like Sporting's week or whatever. I think you'd be more inclined to maybe sling your Trubin into in season if you've got the stack and you're going to be swinging out, because there's not that many other winners around that weekend. And subsequently, the more big cards that go into in season, they come from somewhere. Might be under 23 in the Trubin example, but otherwise, it's probably going to be Classic, isn't it?
Is it this weekend that we start getting boxes in Challenger?
Yeah,
it should be. Yeah.
Has anyone looked at the boxes?
They were supposed to announce it. Yeah, they're supposed to announce it today, and they've said it's delayed till tomorrow.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I've been out this afternoon.
Yeah. When you see the thing with the clubs, I think the point with that is now we're doing multi-entry. You don't need the lower down clubs. So we're talking about stars will be stars, and you're always aiming to get to the top of the divisions. Like the prizes, all right, okay, it's nice when people win something, but we look at the Euro Essence, like you were getting tier 5, tier 4 or whatever, and the quality of those pools was actually a lot better because there weren't many tier 5s and tier 4s at the Euros, so just all international players and things. But now I think Sorare are just aiming towards all the top teams all competing with each other. So maybe, with the SPFL, they'll say, well, why have you got, so no offence to St Johnson or St Mirren or whatever, but in the setup in the SPFL, it might be that that's not really that expensive because everything's all done as a league. Whereas thinking Spain, like Real Madrid and Barcelona negotiate their own rights and things like that, and it's done per club. So I think it will depend on the leagues. Like if you can have the whole Eredivisie and everybody's all part of the deal and doesn't cost much more, then there's no real harm in having them on. But it's not really worth paying money for them when realistically you've got 7 or 8 teams that are just producing tier 3s and tier 4s and tier 5s, and then one of these guys gets his big move to PSV or whatever. Actually, if it comes to PSV or to Celtic or to Rangers, Sorare will probably make more money minting those cards at Celtic. So look at Kasper Schmeichel, he only had 15 rares or whatever, and when he moved to Celtic, he went bonkers, and then everybody's going bonkers for him again. So actually, it's worked out better that he didn't have many cards, because now Sorare's getting 350 to 400 quid a rare because they can just mint them at Celtic. So it's not as good for scouting or whatever, but the end of the day, like Sorare just want to make a profit, obviously, aren't they? And will use that money to put back in the prize pools.
I mean, they've got an economist that works for them, haven't they? And I'm pretty sure he's gone to them and said, on this user base that you've currently got, these are the amount of auctions you should run per year.
Yeah.
And so Rare are thinking, okay, well, if we've got that amount of auctions and we can't afford to auction cards for £1, we need to make sure that we're auctioning cards that go for 10 quid or 100 quid or 1,000 quid. And to do that, you have to cull some of the teams whether, the money or the cost of the cards that they mint is just too low. It's just like that's using a spotter that they could have sold another Jude Bellingham or another, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a Matt O'Reilly or someone like that if he stays at Chelsea.
Meant like 1,000 Fenerbahce cards, 1,000 Galatasaray cards rather than 400 Galatasaray cards and then minting 400 Allianz Sport and stuff. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, to be honest.
Well, do you think it'll affect the higher scarcities more, though? Because obviously your super rares already saying that you don't get much attention in it and things like that. If they're losing a chunk of teams, they're also going to probably lose a chunk of auctions on them because you normally get near your 10 a season on them. That's probably the one that you fill out the most. So you're not going to be able to put out the ones that are worth a couple of £100 here and there and things like that. Is it going to take a hit on them?
I think the problem with Super Rare was that a lot of people were playing Super Rare were just in there for the caps and the threshold.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a rebalance there. I think that actually, I think there's still going for maybe around about 4 to 5 times, but the problem is that the good cards are going for like 5 times, but the cards that aren't good are only going for like double or 50% more or whatever now. So I think actually it makes more sense in that scarcity, cut out the other teams because you just don't really need the cards. One of the frustrations is you win like a tier 3 or whatever at Super Rare and it's not really sellable, but if it was a tier 3 from PSV or a tier 3 from Galatasaray or whatever, then it might be, but you got a lot of these guys and you just can't, there's nothing you can do in terms of selling them on. So I'm still buying it Super Rare, but the problem I've got there is more actually try to shift on some of the existing sort of classic cards that I've got because there's no the user base at Super Rare level is a lot smaller than it is at Rare, so it's just a lot slower.
And true, and to be fair, if you're adding a decent quality to it rather than a half decent useless tier 4s and 5s, at least your market should be a little bit more fluid, as well as anyone who's trying to sell should be selling a usable Super Rare at least. So yes, I suppose that it does work on that front.
I think with that, me and Quinny were talking about it the other day, is that when you get your tier 3, tier 4 Super Rare, instead of getting, say, Challenger, someone that plays at the bottom of Turkey that maybe starts every game but only gets a 35 or 40, you might get a kid from Club Bruges that is currently not playing, but like we know what their academy's like, he's actually got upside where compared to someone who's just starting and probably isn't going to get better.
Yeah. Someone willing to hold rather than just one that you try to shift.
Yeah. Random 26-year-old Turkish guys that play in the bottom half of the table are gone,
The other point there is scoring as well. Like there's some guys like in the bottom half of Turkey that were averaging like 55 to 60. So in a way that's kind of giving people a cheaper option. So he's like, if you had the choice of buying, if you're not doing the full stack of Benfica or whatever, and somebody's averaging 55 at Benfica and somebody's averaging 55, like the guy Tolga Saygerci or whatever, like everybody was all buying him, and like his team get relegated and he was averaging 58 or something. So maybe actually the thinking there is to start focus the demand back on the actual top players again as well.
Yeah, that's part of this I was thinking about as well. As you were talking, is like one thing that I always kind of stop myself with is like when people are talking about like when they're talking about Sorare in the sustainability sense, and they're like, oh, I need to get card prices back up, I need to get this, I need to get that. You can't make people have more money, so it's one of those ones where like if it kind of ties into all the stuff you guys have been saying again, but like if the customer base only has X amount of money and it's getting spread across 1 million cards rather than 500,000 cards, like there's just some basic maths that goes into that. I would probably do a bad job of explaining and everyone can work it out easy enough, but that was just another part of it that it came to mind for me as well. just like you say, can he just have more money? But he's tapped out. Doesn't matter how good Challenger might sound or Champion or whatever he's spent his WAD, and some people are kind of there. And there was a good comment here talking about snapping up rares and relisting them. I do think like in season, like for all the stuff we're kind of chatting about, especially like Peter brought up, 50% in the in season stuff is going to be box payouts as well, which is going to be essence loaded, do you think? And then some market credits, which isn't going to hurt you either for the most part. But I think it's a really open, a really open region now, much more open than Champion, it feels like in a lot of ways. And Contender, like in season, hasn't changed at all, really. If anything, it's got a little bit harder with Rangers being the kind of in season shark. I don't want to call them a unicorn, but they're only in season cards or whatever. So, and see, that was one of the main things I was kind of thinking with everyone coming on tonight. It's like Challenger, like could be like where like McBride and a few other people I know made tons of money in season this year by buying K and J right out the blocks this year, and it's been shooting fish in a barrel for some of them. I think that's going to happen with Challenger when we get the European year on.
Yeah. And so if people were buying Challenger teams right now, we've got the obvious ones, PSVs, Club Brugge, what are some of the ones that people that are slightly under the radar, teams that maybe, haven't done so well in the past or could do better this season? What's everyone's picks?
They're not bad, but I'd say it's looking like Genk could be like even better than they kind of were last season for me. Not that they're ever like shocking, but they weren't that good last season compared to maybe previous seasons. But I feel like they've bought really well. They got a wicked little under 23 core. They've I think Saint Trinidad, or however you pronounce them. They've been just shafted. Like all their best players have just been bought up. All the big Genks and Ghents and a couple of the other ones, but yeah, I'm quite high on Genk, to be fair. Just from
I noticed you bought Gianni Struckers.
Yeah, he was one of my sort of. I needed a big mid for under 23 that isn't champ, so yeah, I think he fits the mold for me.
I agree with Kizzle Kicks in the chat. I think Club Brugge, even though they won the league last season, I think they're going to be like a different level this season. They've just signed Sikwe, who was on loan at Cercle Bruges last year.
Yeah.
They've signed Nielsen from USG, who's like a real goal scorer, who I think will arguably do better than Thiago did.
Ciolis as well. And fucking who's the centre half from Argentina? Absolute animal.
Romero.
Yeah, Romero. They've really bought well.
Yeah,
they have.
And it looks like Nusa's not going anywhere yet. So if they can keep him fit, they're going to be like frightening.
Never mind, like Skov Olsen, and he might move but they've got some unbelievable. Always injured.
I think it's hard to find that hidden gem now if they've taken out so many teams as well, because most of them are top teams already. So
your boys will do all right. The Mechelen boys.
I don't know. They've shifted every centre half they've got. One of them's done his ACL, and they've another one.
Mechelen or Zeno van Hussen?
Yeah,
is it Mechelen they're going for him?
Yeah, he's on the way apparently.
Is it?
Yeah, if he's fit, by the way, he's top quality.
Yeah,
he's fit.
Bates is rumoured to.
Yeah,
he's got a standard. Yeah, at Cobart, I think it was Collar Cobart. He's already gone. So that they lost Van der Berge, who were an unbelievable scorer last season. So they've literally lost all three of the main centre halves in the last 12 months. So God knows how. And the keeper, who's now rumoured to Saudi.
All the best.
So yeah, they've got a. I think they'll either one of them where they'll just click because it's a whole new lineup and they'll just hit the ground running, or they'll really struggle off the bat. I don't think it'll be a middle ground. Hopefully they do well, because I've heavily invested in them.
I think someone who could have I don't think they'll do well, but they haven't upturned on last season is Kortrijk. They won the relegation playoff, so they managed to stay up, but they've kept hold of Haraya Fuji, and they've signed Kaneko from Zagreb. They've also signed a striker on loan from Frankfurt, a young kid who's like 20. So I think they'll do better than last season. I don't think they'll be fighting relegation again.
Kadri's staying, hopefully.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He had a poor season last season comparatively, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. When he was quiet, to be fair, yeah, he actually was compared to the season before. You're right.
I assume he's not under 23 now. Is he?
No, just aged out. I think he could be 24ish now. But yeah, I don't know. It should be exciting. I don't know. I'm quite not disappointed, but maybe they will have a Dutch. Not that I have that many Dutch cards, but like a Dutch sort of special weekly because they have a full league. Like, yeah, there's no reason why they wouldn't if they have the JPL one, really.
Yeah,
if
I agree.
Full licenses and stuff. But obviously, that's a couple of weeks away. Whereas, yeah, that it's going to be interesting tomorrow, though. The prize pools, like Monkey mentioned then a couple of minutes ago, like what do we reckon the essence like multipliers are going to be? Because it definitely ain't going to be 20, 10, and 5. There's no way.
No, can't be.
No chance.
Yes, it's like 1 to 5 for the early access bonus, isn't it?
Right.
So
Do you
I
think
think
that-
that's a bar setter. That, like getting one essence will be normal, you know. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Well, if you think if they're getting rid of the lower level of card as well, the 20 essence for a tier 5 plus looks even more inviting, doesn't it? If you know you're going to most likely get a usable card.
Yeah.
So they don't want everyone winning 20 plus essence a weekend and just getting a free card along with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think 1, 5, and 10.
I was going to say, I think what they should do is make Div 4 just like Div 4 and Div 3 like pretty shit, and then like make people want to get a Div 1. Make the essence like similar to what it was at the Euros, the point where like you want to get there because you could essentially get another card.
I know it's been a tester since the box divisions came out and things, but I've always thought Div 1 and Div 2 are very undervalued compared to what your Div 3 and 4 are, because there were people entering lower on purpose because they knew they'd win more and things. I think it has to be set up that the higher you are, the better you're going to do. Like, there's no point in introducing a system like that if you're going to neglect the top teams and who are trying to get as far as they can.
Yeah, should restrict like Division 3 or 4 and maybe 5 and limited to not like you can't win 10 or 20, wherever the highest amount of essence is. That has to be in D1. Like, otherwise, what is the incentive? Like you said, of playing in the higher divisions? You're literally just like, there's just no point.
No. And it shouldn't even be a conversation, really. It should just be you aim for the highest one you can, and that's it.
The cards one was mad enough, wasn't it? How like people were playing down because of the cards, and now it's like, let's not make the same mistake twice and do it with the fucking essence as well.
I mean, I was looking at the in-season for Challenger divisions, and to be fair, they've done quite well with it, but I still think if you wanted to, you could easily grind out just as much in your lower divisions as you could your higher. Like your lower spot gets $30 instead of $50, and then like I just think for the sake of $20, and you're more likely to win it, who'd rather actually play for something you're more likely to win at a lower value. Right. It's the same as your cap modes, isn't it? You're aiming lower, but you're guaranteeing yourself, giving yourself more of a chance to get some return on it. So
100%,
be interested to see if they do amend it at any point.
Quinny, I need to head off now. It's 8 o'clock.
Pleasure, mate.
Everybody again.
See you later.
Mate.
Cheers.
Take care.
Yeah, because like they haven't actually updated these challenger pools yet. So like tomorrow, we expect like you look in challenger now. I'm only in D. I could see D1, but I'm not in Div 1. But looking at like the amount you can win, I'm curious to see. So it's $500 right now for first place in D1 rare. Does that change tomorrow, or are we just going to know about the essence of the boxes tomorrow? Do you know what I'm saying? I
hope they update it for the weekend, because you'd think if they've got the JPL back, they'd want to start it from the first weekend possible. I know MLS has been in there. I mean, to be honest, I could have complained about divisions for the last few months. I bought an LAFC stack for this season. They've done great. They've had like my top 3 scores of all time, but they've all been in Division 1, where in Division 2 and Division 3, I'd have won the divisions. And it's like, and I've still just carried on playing Division 1 because I'd rather have the chance at getting that first place in that division. But I could have won more by playing down. So I'm hoping they advertise it this weekend and just get it underway straight away.
100%.
Just looking at the prize pool as well for Classic, I'm only seeing the MLS at the moment in time. Am I right in saying that will change? Or...
Tomorrow, yeah,
that will change as well.
Should have been today, apparently, but obviously wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know whether anyone else has found this. I got a Rivals box last week's tournament. The card I pulled was a Croatian card, but last season's card.
Does he have a new card or?
Yeah.
He does.
Maybe they've already packaged it up and put it on the shelf.
I think that's what I think it was the day. I think the rewards were on the day that they released them, so I presume they packaged them the day before or something like that.
But wasn't they released a week ago?
Yeah, Contender was a week ago, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it was a week ago. But...
yeah. Oh, maybe you're right, yeah.
I'm not that fussed because it's not worth much either way. But
Mhm.
I just found it interesting. I was just interested to find out if other people had done the same thing.
Maybe would it be they're not technically in reward pools yet? They're just on the market.
Yeah, it does take time sometimes for them to filter through, but
Because there were people saving their essence and putting it in for when the new contender cards came out to get the in-season ones and stuff. And some were getting in-season, some weren't. I think it was just a matter of them processing the whole change over to the in-season. So I think it's just a bit of a unfortunate circumstance on that one.
Yeah. So I think tomorrow will definitely reveal a little bit more for sure. Because I think the boxes is a big thing that's getting dangled around, and essence and the cards and socks and hand bags and whatever else are going to be lobbing at us. The earlier one in terms of any surprise teams or whatever that might come up, I didn't have a team that came to mind, but I had a player come to mind. You've probably all seen it on the timeline. He's been pictured at training with Nordisland. It's the one and only Juan Mata. And I just had a wee double check before bringing it up on stream, but Nordisland didn't qualify for Europe this year. So if he does sign, they're a full academy team, He'll be the wise sensei playing an attacking mid, doing the Daniel Wass role. And if you've seen Wass's scores at Bromby last year, if someone can play like that, it's fucking Juan Mata, So there's not many cards. He's got a few Galatasaray ones knocking around, but that was... And again, you could play that in season if you had an in-season rig and then just pop a wee Mata on top, So that's what came to my mind. Not maybe not as useful as a team, but...
Was he at Gala there last year? What was that the year before?
Year before.
So
I think he has 2 cards. He has he literally has no supply at all, I'm sure, Mata.
Wow.
He had a rare on sale when I looked at them. They're not there now. Oh no, they are there. He's got 1 rare and 1 limited on sale. Total is 2 rares, 11 limited and 1 super. So he has a real differential.
By the way, Fenerbahce are losing in the qualifiers to Lugano.
Wow.
Tony Watt won't be happy, will he? I saw he got out.
They'll be on the market now, yeah.
Pick his nose, Tony, could he?
Reckon they'll last 90 minutes or they'll already be on the market.
Want to trade for Unique?
To be fair, I think Lugano aren't that bad.
They're not, but they're not.
I think they played Club Brugge last year. I think it was either a qualifier or the group, and they gave them a both game.
Give them a good game, yeah.
Twice.
Mate, this
they're a Swiss team, aren't they? They're
a decent side.
They're linked with Chicago Fire. They've got some MLS cast-offs, if memory serves me right.
Yes, yeah.
The new Saints are losing 3-0, the Welsh boys. Romans has moved to is it a Greek club, is it?
Yeah, Alaseda.
Yeah.
I assume he's not playing, is he? Because he only moved there.
He's playing. He's got 9 AA. He's flying.
Really?
Yep.
Alex, I should have played him.
This is a problem.
Yeah, they need St. Maximin out there.
That Grigic was one of my first threshold rares that I bought, and he used to just hit 60.
Everyone had him.
Every single week. Yeah, I used to love him.
Who did he play for? It was a red kit, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yeah, Sean.
Sion, yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Who's playing the medal special weekly then this weekend, lads?
I'll be playing it.
Me. I DJ'd it.
I want a fanny
pack.
You've got yourself a 10S, haven't you?
No, I got a Rulli.
No? I saw that. Yeah. I didn't think you bought him for that, but yeah, clever. Yeah, I saw them in the gallery and I was like, why has he bought Rulli? And then...
He might move to Betis or Villarreal. He's been bombed out of Ajax, obviously, but playing for Argentina at the Olympics. Yaldi.
Yeah.
Does he have a double game week or not? So, some have got doubles and some don't.
Yeah, some do.
Spain have got a good double. They're playing
Spain
2 group games, so you're guaranteed 100 out of anyone.
Spain have got Dominican and Egypt.
Come on, Spain. Vamos.
I'm just hoping they rotate keepers because then I can run 2 medal teams.
I think that because that'll be the second and third game. So you'd think they would
be done after the second,
done and dusted by then. So yeah,
I've got a Garcia, but I've got a Rulli as well. In fact, I won Rulli as a tier 4 like
Jeez.
back end of last season. I've just been collecting dust in my gallery, so that's good.
40 card
Yeah.
rewards right now, and there's 140 participants in rare.
I think people are going to struggle for keepers. There's not many. There's
And you
only
can't just put a you can't put a
No,
random
you
one.
can't, yeah.
He needs a game. So
There's I bought a card this morning. Actually, there was a guy from Houston who plays for
join the
Dominican
club.
Republic.
Valdez. Yeah,
Yeah.
I bought him as well.
Yeah, I bought him for like 20 quid or something like that. So, if he plays, great. Otherwise, it's just
Yeah,
he did flight to play in the first game.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Because of
that.
the
I saw
storms
he
in
missed
Houston.
it, but like he plays with the main national team. So I was like, why isn't he playing? But yeah, I got mine for a tenner like 2 days ago.
Cheap as chips, isn't it? If he does play, they've got loads of goalies. That was weird for like
Yeah,
a
they've got,
country
like,
that's
two
like very
goalies.
small. They have like quite a few decent young ones. He should play, but you just don't know.
He's actually got 2 games, so maybe.
Does
think
he? Interesting.
Maybe he plays one of them. Let's hope he plays the second one because the first one's against Spain. Second one's against Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
I've seen part of the WhatsApp group. A lot of them tried planning for the Olympics and buying and things like that, and a lot of them have just sold up for the profit now because the prices are just crazy. It's like a lot of them have like Elise and things like that, and Mateta, and there was some that they've bought like less than a month ago and they've just doubled, and they're just like,
Yeah.
am I going to win that using them?
Euros, yeah. Same for the Euros. I wanted it for the Euros. People were just selling up before the Euros started, or playing one game and selling the card, and it's not a bad strategy.
Yeah.
Definitely not. It takes nerves of steel, but it takes nerves of steel. When to do it? Do you wait for like now? Do you do it last week? Or is it? It's definitely a good move. You can pull it off.
But I don't think you can plan for it because the teams are like you can't predict who's playing. Like it's genuinely carnage. Like the team front, like some of the players France aren't playing.
It's frightening.
Even Spain, like some of the players they've got like. I don't think like Pacheco's he might not play. There's a good chance he doesn't play. Like the centre backs they've brought.
There's so many good centre halves in there.
I've bought Pacheco just basically purely off Quinny's going on about him for the last few months.
Yeah, I think it's literally a 3-way coin toss between him, Kubasi, and Garcia. Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't bought him for this tournament. I've bought him for
really?
next season, but this.
No, he is good. He is good. I want to get one. To be fair.
I'm looking at spending about 150 grand on Jude Bellingham, I think.
Love it. Is that for every card he's got on the platform?
Yeah, just for every single one, yeah.
I had a look actually, and he must have bought one of the first ever Jude Bellinghams that came onto the platform because they were the only ones that went for that price. And so he's quoted as saying, I bought him, and then they just kept on printing more. I was like, well, you bought one of the first ones. Of course they're going to print more. I don't get it.
I missed the references, sorry. I went over my...
I actually did miss the reference as well. So until Monkey started talking about it.
Yeah, it was a small dig at a certain someone.
Did you see Nicholas's tweet?
Yeah, top class.
What did he put out? I didn't see it.
Zidane hit the crossbar from the penalty spot. And then the keeper saving it, tries a Panenka. Tries a Panenka, it comes off the crossbar and the keeper catches it.
Sharp, that is mine, isn't it? It's not bad.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, for sure. I did say, guys, I wasn't sure how long we'd run to. I was happy to run until we ran out of steam. And I in terms of the topic, that's kind of what I feel. If you are all okay with it, I've got a crappy card to open and maybe some boxes that'll have nothing in them. He's all right to hang in with me?
Yeah, I shouldn't have saved mine, but mine were all shit. Let's hope that yours are better.
Let's hope so. Fingers crossed. If anyone is in the live chat and there's a bunch of you here, I can see you there, and you have not hit the like button, you've screwed me before we've even started. You've been here for a good bit. We've had a great show, talked about lots of good stuff. If you haven't already, do smash the like button. Sorry, I know you're here, and they're not going to like it if you don't support the content and don't hit the like button. So help us. We'll all get along and we'll all do better for it as we get more engrossed and more entrenched in RNG life when it comes to essence and boxes and cards and everything else. But we've got a couple of coins there. Now, I won this, guys. I don't know if you've seen my teams. You probably don't, because who cares about them, really? But I had one team in like an actual region in Challenger, and I thought before the Scottish League comes back, I need to get that team out of D3 and into D2, and every player dropped like a yellow score, except for the last player, who was captain João Carlos Teixeira in China, who dropped a 100 right at the end. So he's one-manned himself one-manned me into winning this tier 5, which will be rubbish, but we accept it with glory anyway. He plays for Gimchin, Kim Min Duk, 27, good, as long as he's not just 30s, that's a start. But yeah, so not that great a reward, but we won it thanks to a one-man effort, so we take that. And then we've got 3 boxes. I've not opened boxes, and they're light boxes, so there not be anything too great in them, perhaps. But I've not opened a box in a fair while. It's not been a Rivals box.
Well,
So,
I missed the Euros for boxes because at the moment all I'm getting is level up.
Yeah, level up.
I can't wait for them to change.
Is that all that's going to be in it? I could use a few level ups right enough. I've been buying stuff on the market. Yeah, level up one. So is there no cards in these ones then? Or is it just like crap?
Yeah, I think it's 5% chance.
Yeah, okay. Well, I've still not. Everyone keeps telling me about content creator luck. I've not had any such thing or anywhere close to it when it comes to these bloody things. So maybe. It's we tease there. But no. 3 power ups.
They're saving all your luck up for the new season, so you get some new in-season cards, Quinny.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I hope to win many a new season card. And I think, like, again, a lot of stuff we've been chatting about tonight, like, as much as I'm quite in-season focused with a lot of this stuff because of the change of teams, and that's very much where you'll directly see it in the prize pool. But the in-season cards who maybe have more or better utility, maybe if that's the way of putting it or whatever, are the rewards in Classic, so it's kind of like it's a yin and a yang thing on the go here. If in-season gets better, then it's kind of better to have a strong Classic rig out type of thing. So I'm hoping to really squeeze that lemon, squeeze that juice with my Classic teams and get the in-season ones rolling in quick, sooner rather than later. So yeah, let's hope the boxes get better for sure. We save that luck up for when we've got Celtic cards and boxes and stuff and we get another Kyogo moment or something, that'd be great. But yeah, we've been on for a fair amount, guys. Is there anything that you didn't get a chance to come in with that was like, or anything that you want to bring up that we haven't spoke about already? But I've kind of said everything.
I want to ask as Sorare 7's lineup squads. When's announcement for that?
I believe it was meant to be tonight, and to be honest, you can blame me for this.
So that Sorare does. He plays tomorrow.
Yeah,
he's a mole on the inside.
Yeah, we're busy, men. No, I told Mark that I'd do we've decided on the league format. We've decided on how it's all going to work. I just need to put through the fixture schedule tonight, and then he's going to put the teams and the fixtures out on the Twitter. So it'll either be tonight or it'll definitely be tomorrow.
Brilliant.
But don't hold me to
it.
I'll decide which team I'm going to support.
Yeah,
and I'll be mocking the rest. Although I suppose it should be the one with Haber in, but
no one supports that. But no, it should be good. I'm really looking forward to it. If it's anything like the last two, it'll be another top day.
Yes, Scott was brilliant. Yeah, really was.
Yeah, no, it should be good. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been to one before, so
it'll be. There's definitely more than last year. I think we had about low 50s because of train strikes and no shows and things like that. So we should be looking at 60 plus, and that's just players. So I think there's quite a few turning up just for a pint and a chat as well. So yeah, it should be a pretty full house.
Monkey's definitely the sort of guy at Sorare 7s that buys like a ticket book's worth of raffle tickets. I feel bad. I can see it now. I can see him in the corner getting all the strips out going, was that me? Hold on. Where's those tickets went? Where's the blue ones?
As did you Sorare socks as the main prize.
No one wants them. But no, I won't be doing the raffle this year because I've done it both tournaments so far and I've been called out for all sorts of fixing and everything. So I'm stepping down from raffle duty this year, so I can't get thrown under the bus any more than I did for the last two.
Definitely feels like an Adam job doing the raffle call.
Well, Adam helped me with the first one, but he also did his ACL at the time, so he could barely move. Whereas in Scotland, I kind of just went around and did it on my own. Didn't pick a single ticket on my own, but got blamed for all the tickets that got pulled out. So I'm just staying away from it this time.
Anyone else?
I just want to address Agent Cooper's comment, and I think it's 0. I think.
What's this? If Team GB was in it?
Welsh boys. Pretty sure we had the captain last time it happened, but
What, for the London Olympics?
all the boys
fucking
were
Ryan
in there.
years ago.
We had Giggsy, Ramsey, Bellamy. I could keep reading them off if you want.
Is that why we didn't win?
No, it was fucking Marvin Sordell's fault. One of your mob. Couldn't hit a barn door with a shovel.
Absolutely love it. If you've been watching this live, fist bump, thanks to everyone that's joined us. Everyone who, by the way, as one of the hosts of Make It a Double Double podcast, SR Monkey, never got a proper introduction, but one of the hosts of the Sorare Ramble podcast, Harry Trades and Jack P, as you know, from their respective YouTube channels, at Harry Trades, at Jack P. After we've been live, I'll make sure all the links to their YouTube channels and whatnot are in the description, so feel free to check these guys out if you've been watching this after we've been live. And to everyone that's been with us live, fist bump. Thanks to everyone for coming on. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Take care.
Cheers, boys.
See you later, guys.
Cheers.